Welcome to Space Matrix. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. In the heart of the South China Sea lies Scarborough Shoal, a seemingly unremarkable chain of reefs and rocks, but one that holds immense importance for the region and beyond. Though small in size, its significance is enormous, shaping the lives of people and the politics of nations. For generations, Filipino fishermen have depended on these rich, bountiful waters for their daily catch, making the shoal a lifeline for entire coastal communities. Strategically, Scarborough Shoal sits well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, just over 120 nautical miles from Luzon. Yet, China claims it as a crucial outpost in its sweeping territorial ambitions, asserting control over vast stretches of the South China Sea. Whoever controls the shoal can project military power, monitor vital shipping lanes, and influence the movement of goods and energy supplies that fuel economies across Asia and the world. Since 2012, China has blocked Filipino access, deploying Coast Guard ships and maritime militia to enforce its claim, often leading to tense standoffs on the water. This ongoing blockade has turned daily life for local fishermen into a struggle against intimidation, uncertainty, and the constant threat of confrontation. The Philippines refuses to back down, turning Scarborough Shoal into a powerful symbol of national sovereignty and a critical test case for international law and maritime rights. The standoff has drawn in global powers like the United States and its allies, raising the stakes far beyond a local dispute and making the shoal a flashpoint in the contest for influence in the Indo-Pacific. The fate of this tiny shoal could ultimately reshape maritime security, international relations, and the global order for years to come. On August 13, 2025, tensions at Scarborough Shoal soared from the sea to the skies, marking a new chapter in the ongoing struggle for control in the South China Sea. The region, already a flashpoint for territorial disputes, witnessed a dramatic escalation that day. A Philippine Coast Guard plane, carrying a group of journalists documenting the situation, was intercepted by a Chinese fighter jet during what was supposed to be a routine patrol mission. The presence of the media underscored the importance of transparency and the world's watchful eye on these contested waters. Suddenly, the Chinese jet roared past, coming within just 200 feet of the patrol plane, a dangerously close encounter that left those on board shaken and fully aware of the risks involved. For a nerve-wracking 20 minutes, the fighter shadowed the unarmed plane, flying in close formation and sending a clear message of intimidation. The tension in the air was palpable as every maneuver was watched with bated breath. Meanwhile, below them, Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels patrolled the waters in a coordinated show of force. Radio commands crackled through the cockpit, ordering the Philippine aircraft to leave the area immediately, further escalating the standoff. The combination of aggressive aerial maneuvers and a heavy naval presence created a hostile environment, highlighting the ever-present risks of miscalculation and the potential for a minor incident to spiral out of control. Inside the cockpit, pilots gripped their controls tightly, knowing that a single mistake or misunderstanding could have triggered a major international crisis with far-reaching consequences. This was more than just a breach of aviation safety protocols. It was a calculated and deliberate show of force, intended to assert dominance and send a warning to all who challenged China's claims. China's willingness to use military power to enforce its territorial claims was on full display, leaving little doubt about its resolve to control the region. The incident underscored just how volatile and unpredictable the region has become, serving as a stark reminder of the fragile peace that hangs over the South China Sea. That same day, two U.S. warships, the USS Cincinnati and USS Higgins, patrolled just 30 nautical miles from Scarborough Shoal. Their presence was a calculated signal. The U.S. stands with the Philippines and upholds freedom of navigation. These operations challenge China's sweeping claims and reinforce international law. The U.S. quickly condemned China's aerial aggression, framing its naval patrols as a response to rising tensions. China, in turn, accused the U.S. of provocation and claimed to have driven the ships away. The standoff transformed a regional dispute into a superpower confrontation. With a mutual defense treaty in place, any escalation could draw the world's two largest militaries into direct conflict. Scarborough Shoal is now a critical flashpoint in global security. The August 13th aerial incident was just the latest in a series of confrontations. 2 days earlier, Philippine vessels delivering supplies to fishermen were aggressively blocked by Chinese ships. In the chaos, two Chinese vessels collided, a first, highlighting the dangers of their blockade tactics. The Philippines offered help, but China ignored the gesture and withheld details. China's Coast Guard and maritime militia have enforced a blockade since 2012, using water cannons and intimidation to keep Filipinos out. The risks of escalation are ever present, with each encounter threatening to spiral into a larger crisis. At the heart of the ongoing dispute in the South China Sea lies China's controversial 9-dash line, a sweeping demarcation that Beijing uses to assert its authority over vast stretches of these strategic waters. This claim covers nearly the entire South China Sea, an area rich in natural resources and vital shipping lanes, making it one of the world's most contested maritime regions. China's expansive claim directly overlaps with the exclusive economic zones, or EEZs, of several Southeast Asian nations, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei, fueling regional tensions. These sweeping claims are in direct conflict with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which sets clear rules for maritime boundaries and resource rights. According to UNCLOS, the Philippines has sovereign rights to areas like Scarborough Shoal, which lies well within its 200 nautical mile EEZ. In 2016, after years of legal wrangling, an international tribunal in The Hague ruled that China's sweeping claim had no legal foundation under international law and declared China's blockade of Scarborough Shoal illegal. Despite this, China dismissed the ruling outright and has since doubled down, rapidly expanding its presence by building artificial islands, militarizing outposts, and deploying a growing Coast Guard fleet to enforce its claims. Legally, the Philippines stands on solid ground backed by international law and the tribunal's decision, but in reality it faces a much larger and more powerful neighbor that refuses to comply or back down. This tense standoff is not just about territory, it pits China's vision of historical rights and national pride against the established global legal order, raising questions about the future of international law and the ability of global institutions to enforce their rulings. As the world watches closely, the South China Sea has become a real-time test of whether international law can stand up to great power ambitions and shifting geopolitics. Scarborough Shoal now stands as a symbolic battleground, where the future of maritime rules and the balance of power in Asia may well be decided. Outmatched at sea, the Philippines has turned to radical transparency. The Coast Guard equips ships with cameras and invites journalists to document every Chinese maneuver. These images, shared worldwide, expose China's actions and rally support for the Philippines. By making each incident public, Manila pressures Beijing and the international community to uphold the rule of law. Commodore J. Tariella leads this information campaign, ensuring the Philippine narrative is heard. While cameras can't force Chinese ships to leave, they turn every confrontation into a global test of principles. Scarborough Shoal is more than a local dispute. It's a global concern. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade. Any conflict here could disrupt supply chains worldwide. The standoff is a test of the international rules-based order, with China's defiance challenging decades of stability. U.S. involvement raises the risk of a superpower clash, with the potential for rapid escalation. A single accident could trigger a chain reaction, drawing in regional and global powers. The world watches anxiously as nationalism, economics, and law collide at Scarborough Shoal. The outcome will shape the Indo-Pacific balance of power and the future of global order. The next move in this high-stakes drama could have repercussions far beyond the horizon.